Apple is quietly preparing one of the most important upgrades the iMac has seen in years. And this time it's not just about faster chips or new colors. It's about the display itself. Because new reports suggest Apple is actively developing a 24-inch iMac with an OLED screen, a move that could fundamentally change how Apple's all-in-one desktops look, feel, and perform. With OLED already making its way into iPhones, iPads, and MacBooks, the iMac has been the missing piece, and now credible leaks indicate that Apple has begun working with Samsung and LG to make it happen. In this video, we'll explore the leaked specs, the real-world benefits, the manufacturing challenges, and the realistic timeline for Apple's OLED iMac future. Apple is developing a 24-inch OLED iMac, and if the latest reports are accurate, this could mark the most visually dramatic upgrade to Apple's all-in-one desktop since the jump to Retina displays. Because according to trusted Korean publication The Elec, Apple has already approached Samsung Display and LG Display with requests to design a large format OLED panel specifically for a future iMac, signaling that Apple's long-term roadmap clearly includes OLED technology for desktop Macs. And while Apple has not officially confirmed anything, the level of detail emerging around brightness targets, pixel density, panel structure, and suppliers suggest this project has moved beyond early concept stages and into active development, with the OLED iMac potentially arriving around 2027 or 2028. And when we look at the rumored specs, the picture becomes even more compelling, because the panel under discussion reportedly targets up to 600 nits of brightness and a pixel density of 218 pixels per inch, which means the resolution would effectively match the current 24-inch iMac's 4.5K Retina display, while delivering a roughly 20% brightness increase over today's 500-nit LCD panel, placing it much closer to Apple's Studio display in terms of brightness, despite using a completely different display technology. And this matters, because OLED doesn't just increase brightness, it fundamentally changes image quality, offering perfect blacks, infinite contrast ratios, faster pixel response times, and improved power efficiency, all of which are especially valuable for creative professionals, content creators, and everyday users who spend hours staring at their screens. And this move also fits perfectly into Apple's broader display transition strategy, because while Apple's laptops are already moving toward OLED, the iMac has so far remained stuck with LCD technology, making this development feel less like a radical shift and more like a long overdue evolution. And one of the most interesting aspects of this leak is Apple's engagement with both Samsung and LG, because it highlights a critical decision Apple must make regarding OLED panel architecture, with Samsung likely proposing QD-OLED technology that uses quantum dots for higher color volume and brightness, while LG Display is expected to offer W-OLED panels that rely on white OLED emitters with color filters. And both companies are reportedly working on advanced 5-stack OLED designs that layer more emissive material to boost brightness and longevity compared to today's 4-stack panels, which is especially important for desktop displays that must maintain consistent performance over many years. And although Apple traditionally prefers RGB OLED for its superior color accuracy and efficiency, that technology has not yet been scaled economically for 20 to 30-inch displays, making Samsung and LG's approaches a pragmatic interim solution rather than a compromise. And from Apple perspective, this cautious, methodical approach makes sense, because desktop OLED panels face unique challenges, including burn-in risk, sustained brightness demands, and long-term durability, all of which must be solved to meet Apple's quality standards. And this is likely why the OLED iMac timeline stretches into 2027 or 2028, rather than arriving in the immediate future. And adding further realism to the leak is a report suggestion that Apple's next 24-inch iMac refresh will likely focus on internal performance upgrades rather than display technology, with rumors pointing toward an M5 series chip while retaining LCD, which aligns with Apple's habit of separating major design changes across multiple product generations. And for buyers today, this creates an important decision point, because while an OLED iMac promises significant visual improvements, it is still several years away, and waiting indefinitely may not make sense for users who need an upgrade now. Yet at the same time, knowing that OLED is on Apple's roadmap helps set expectations and avoid disappointment. And strategically, the OLED iMac could also help Apple better differentiate its desktop lineup, offering a premium all-in-one experience that sits clearly above entry-level Macs, while complementing modular setups like the Mac Studio. And if Apple executes this transition successfully, the OLED iMac could become the ultimate balance between simplicity and professional-grade visuals, especially if paired with future Apple Silicon chips that continue to push performance per watt boundaries. And when all the evidence is considered, the most honest conclusion is that Apple's OLED iMac is not a rumor built on wishful thinking, but a carefully planned, technically challenging project that is progressing steadily behind the scenes. And while the wait may feel long, the payoff could be substantial, delivering deeper blacks, stronger contrast, higher brightness, and improved efficiency in a familiar yet refined iMac design. And for anyone tracking Apple Display leaks, iMac rumors, and future Mac roadmaps, this development confirms that the iMac's evolution is far from over, and that Apple still sees the all-in-one desktop as a vital part of its ecosystem. And for ongoing updates, clear analysis, and no hype Apple coverage, stay tuned to TechVerse. If you need a new iMac today, don't wait for OLED and choose based on current performance needs. But if display quality matters most and your current Mac still works fine, waiting until 2027 or 2028 could reward you with one of Apple's best screens ever.